What's up? Just the Victor JP in the house. It's been a long time. Anyway, I have a story to tell you about a conversation that me and my friend had about school and school not teaching people anything. So we were just hanging out, and he just, for some reason, abruptly said, "School does not teach you or kids anything." And I'm just, in my mind, I'm like, what is this guy talking about? So I looked over to him and I pointed down at his feet and I said, "Well, it doesn't matter because your mother taught you everything." And he said, "Well, my mother didn't tell me about management." And so I laughed, pointed down at his feet, and I said, "Well, you managed to put your shoes on your feet and not have them dangling off your ears." And he got mad. He said, "Well, she didn't teach me about finance." And I'm like, "Yes, she did." And he was like, "When?" And I said, "Well, when you went to the store and you wanted her to buy you something and she didn't have enough money, that's a deficit." And he was like, "Oh." And I said, "Yeah, just because you didn't understand what the word deficit, was, didn't mean that she didn't teach you about finance." So he came back with this, "Well, she didn't teach me about science." And I just burst into laughter. It was so funny. I was like, "Hey, don't you know that when your mother walks into a kitchen and she's a scientist, a kitchen is a library. I mean, not a library, how about that? It is a laboratory. And it's the most dangerous part of the house." And I said, when your mother decides that she wants to make some French fries, right? Well, your mother knows well enough that if she took the oil and put it on the fire, that it would blow up the house. And what she does is she uses a skillet because she knows that she needs some kind of apparatus or some kind of device that would be able to safely transfer the energy of the fire to the grease. So she uses a skillet. Then when she grabs that potato, she becomes an engineer. And then I asked him, "Do you know what an engineer is?" And he's like, "No." And I said, "Well, an engineer is just a person who designs something, a machine that makes, that's all." And then she grabs that knife and then she grabs the cutting board and she puts that potato on a cutting board. And then once she starts cutting, she becomes a designer or interior designer or architect or whatever you want to call it. And she starts but cutting those potatoes into whatever shapes. Now, she can dice them like you dice onions and then toss them into the oil and fry them up and give it to you. But, she's not going to do that. But it's the same thing, right? And I said, so what she does is as she's designing them, she's thinking in her head, well, how should she cut the potatoes? Were they long, thick, flat, however, so she just cut them up. She can make designs. She can cut them with the skin on, or she can peel it, it doesn't matter. So anyway, she put it in there, plus she already turned up the fire to an exact point, which makes, her an experienced scientist. Then I said she waits until the French fries get to a certain texture that she likes. And then once she turns off the fire, takes out the French fries, she becomes an inspector and notices the excess oil on the French fries. Now she could take a plate and toss them on there and give it to you and put some sauce or whatever on it, and you will eat it. You'll probably take one fry and shake off or wipe off whatever the excess oil is and then eat it. But she doesn't do that. She will take those fries and, like what we used to do in the old days was like put them on napkins and, dry them off with napkins or something. But maybe you guys got something different these days. I don't know. And so then she'll take a new plate. When she takes a new plate and put those fries over, she becomes a designer again because she arranges them in a nice plate, in a nice pattern. Now, she can just, like I said, just toss them on and give it to you. You will eat it, even though it doesn't look well or the presentation isn't nice. So she, fixes it up really nice. If you go to what's those things called, a 5-star hotel, they got them, it's just a piece of cake, but they got it looking like really, really, really nice and presentable. Then she grabs some seasoning and she becomes a chef or herbalist or whatever you want to call it. She seasons it to perfection, which later on you will agree that is perfect. And when you eat it, and then she puts ketchup on it, whatever it is that she put on it, give it to you. You take your fork and you grab one of the fries, you put it in your mouth, and you're like, Mama, this is so good. And he was like, you should have saw the look on his face. So And so when you run around here and you're telling people that school doesn't teach, kids anything, that's so wrong, because can you name one subject that's taught in school that is not a million, billion, or $1 trillion industry out in the world today? You look at English, you got Amazon, you look at math, you look at the banks, you look at science, you look at all of the whatever companies out there that's using a lot of science to do research and stuff like that. Even gym, didn't LeBron James become a billionaire last year, right? So and how many trillions of dollars in sports? So when people are running around saying that school does not teach our children anything, that is so wrong. I mean, it's so obviously wrong, and it's kind of scary, to hear adults saying that. When these teachers, and then you have some of these adults who are doing what it is called homeschooling, which is cool, it's nothing wrong. But the point is this: can one parent be able to teach 6 or 5 subjects, or however many a student goes to in one day, that a teacher who is a profession in that subject can teach at the same level? Can those adults, can those parents, or whomever teach at the same level? Well, if they can, that's cool, because there are some adults who can. There are. But how many of them are there? So it's really dangerous saying that. And then when it comes to going to school, and these kids going to school, what's the purpose of getting a degree? A lot of people say it's to get a job, but it's not. It's actually to go out there and start your own company. When these kids are in these schools and these teachers are teaching them things, regardless of the subjects, and like I said before, when every subject out in the world is a million, billion, or $1 trillion industry, all these schools are doing is teaching these kids all of these subjects. The child is supposed to pick the one that they like, do well in it, and then go out in the world and get some of those millions and billions of trillions of dollars, because they're out there for the people. What's the purpose of a degree? I used to ask a lot of people. They said to get a job. I said, no, it's not. It's for you to start your own business, because you have that knowledge, you have that skill to build what you want. And all you have to do is just find people who want to participate with you, hire them, pay them well, and you can create your business. And then I think I used to say this in my other videos, like there's like last time I counted, it was like 360 million blacks. And, a lot of people are mad because they can't get jobs. But a lot of those people who are mad, who can't get jobs, actually have skills to create their own businesses. And those people should be out opening up businesses and hiring people. Now, of course, like I said, the purpose of having a degree is to start a business. Everyone who has a degree should start a business, but a lot of them don't, and they rather work. So you can hire them, but how many businesses that need a person who actually needs to have a degree instead of just having a skill? There are a lot of jobs who just need people with the skill in certain sections, because business or any kind of a job or a corporation is just it's like a puzzle. You got the management, and you got this, and you got that, and you got this, and you got that. So that's all it is. So anyway, during that conversation, I did mention that also to him, but it's really sad. So when you're going to school, or when kids are going to school, if you want to take them out, there's many reasons to take children out of school. I am not joking. There are. What's going on in these schools today is bad. But to say that the schools aren't teaching the kids anything, well, that's not true. Now, the delivery, they are teaching them. Maybe the delivery is bad, or the children just don't have the comprehension to understand, due to the fact that the teachers aren't using the correct words to teach these kids that, that would be a definite problem. And for a solution for that, what I used to tell a lot of people is just, teachers should just use synonyms that your children understand. Then once the children use the synonyms, then switch it back to the regular word, because most of the words that are in English, they do have synonyms that are used in different neighborhoods and stuff like that. And you can verify that by just going to a thesaurus. Now, there might not be some, but I'm almost sure there are. You know, people do create nicknames or whatever for certain situations or certain things. So to finish up, just remember that school is doing your child a big favor. School is there to teach these children skills, give them knowledge or whatever, so that they can go out into the world and get some of those millions and billions and trillions of dollars. Please stop saying school doesn't teach you or teach your kids anything. They do. The problem, you guys see that? The problem is that it's going to be the vocabulary. That's it. You know, there's another story I would like to say, but I think I said that in the videos a long time ago. But it talked about vocabulary and the difference when I lived in Westwood, how the parents used the vocabulary that they used at their work, versus when I went and visited my family, they didn't use the vocabulary that they used at work. And they had the same professions: doctors, lawyers, government positions, whatever, scientists, whatever. They did the same jobs, but the vocabulary was very, 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 very absent from the home. So if you want your kids to do better, it's all about the vocabulary. Just grab a dictionary, sit down, read the first word entry, you know, the entry word, then close the dictionary, and just go a little bit by a little bit, you know, and use the thesaurus and do the same things. But if you want to see an increase in your children's education, start using the vocabulary that you use at your job. Use those vocabularies at home, because that's the vocabulary in the books that kids use in schools. And with that, I am done. Thank you for watching.